Let's focus on the currency. It's cooled off a little bit, the rupee weakness, but Bhaskar Panda is Executive Vice President and Head of Overseas Treasury at HDFC Bank for a quick comment on what we're seeing in the dollar rupee. Mr. Panda, good to have you with us here. It's a very sharp move we've seen in the last 20 minutes or so. What's causing it?
I'm also surprised, honestly, because it was in a range, and all of a sudden, I think there was buying pressure from maybe some stop losses getting hit somewhere. So that is the only explanation I can gather. Otherwise, why should rupee move maybe 20-25% in a few minutes? That's something which is unusual. So having said that, we cannot really predict a rupee range at this point of time. Maybe 82, 83, or maybe 83 plus. I really don't know.
No, so you're basically saying that the market was caught short, and I think the Treasury futures yields have also moved higher over the afternoon.
Yeah.
Maybe that could be the reason, one of the reasons?
That is one of the reasons. But I'm surprised that it moved so swiftly in a few minutes. So that is something which is surprising.
And
it would have moved in tandem with that. That is fine.
Yeah.
But I really don't.
And perhaps no RBI in the market.
I cannot comment on that, but probably no.
Okay, probably not.
Any chatter, anything that you've picked up in terms of a buzz, perhaps, that's causing this kind of a move? And what are the volumes, sir? Has the decline in rupee come in on very large volumes?
No. Volumes are still, it is not come on large volumes. As I said, probably it is because of some stop losses has got hit. That could be the only reason, because once it broke above 82.40, 45, probably people were kind of, trying to cover their stocks.
All right, we'll leave it there, Mr. Panda. Good to have you with us here. Quick comments. Appreciate you joining in. Look at that rupee go. I think just 5 paise off the 83 level, and 0.75% in terms of weakness is what we have. We have a money market veteran, Lakshmi Iyer, joining us now of Kotak Mahindra Asset Management Company. Lakshmi, any clues what's going on?
Hi. Actually, if you see from a relative performance basis, rupee has been holding in general pretty strong. If you compare it vis-a-vis, of course, the dollar, or for that matter, compared to most of the other currencies, including emerging market as well as developed market currencies. So some bit of a catching up game, which we've been discussing for quite some time, is also happening at the current juncture. So that catch-up game is probably leading to some of those knee-jerk, apart from the fact that, FPIs have been month-to-date so far net sellers. And they were, of course, sellers last month also.
Anything today, Lakshmi, anything today to explain this sudden move? It's all happening in the last 30 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm saying that it's been happening in spurts. So something happened a couple of days back, then there's suddenly something happening right now. So if it's a matter of intervention, if there is some intervention, there is, suddenly that kind of an anchor that the rupee gets. And if that doesn't happen, suddenly you see this kind of a slide. Some bit of, offshore intervention also might be happening. Some positions being squared off in the offshore markets, which we need to check. It's a combination of all these factors, which is actually leading to this knee-jerk reaction on the rupee.
Lakshmi, two-part question. One, if you could tell us what has been the performance or the movement that we've seen in other emerging market currencies, just to understand whether, India is just playing a catch-up or we've seen weakness across the board today in other currencies. And secondly, what's the sense that you get from the RBI? They were trying to hold up the rupee, but do you think now in spurts they're going to let go and India will play catch-up all the way down?
So, does the central banker really have a target on the rupee? Our sense and our assumption is it's pretty explicit no, implied could be something else. That's number one. Number two is, even as we speak right now, from an emerging pack perspective, the rupee has been faring, even after today's, depreciation, it's been faring reasonably well. Most of the currencies are holding fort right now because they've already seen a reasonable downside, even in the recent past. So that bit of catch-up, as I mentioned even earlier on in one of your interviews, I think will still take some more time to go, and you will start seeing in spurts. 79.80 was a very strong psychological level. Once that is broken, you were kind of settling in at around 82, and then probably now we are closely and gradually headed towards the 83 mark. Also, you also need to note that we are gradually dwindling on the foreign exchange reserves. Now, that number also is equally important to track in terms of how much of anchoring you can do at various levels on the currency.
Okay, all right. Lakshmi, thanks so much for joining in and filling us in with those details.